Hi, everyone. Welcome to A New View. I'm Shira, and I'm here with Kim, Lee, and Juji. We are four friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups coming together to offer healing and inspiration. Today, we're going to address a concept that we all value, wish we had more of, but never seem to have enough of: time. As the Rolling Stones sang about time is on our side. Yes, it is. My lovelies, do we agree with that?
Can you sing that, please?
Sometimes.
Sorry.
I feel like I want to say that one of the most impactful things that I've learned on my journey of self-development, discovery, whatever, is understanding that the mind has a lot to say about a lot of things. And it's for us to be more observant of our minds than taking it seriously as fact when it's saying a lot of things to us. But to layer onto that, I started to understand something a few years ago, which is that our minds don't understand time. We're constantly reflecting on the past, dwelling on things that happened, which are not happening anymore. And we're consistently also simultaneously projecting into a future that doesn't exist yet. So our mind doesn't understand that right now even exists. We're already on to the next thing. Like, how many of us here are like, what am I going to eat after this? Or like, I know, so it's really about understanding that if the mind doesn't understand time, then whatever it's saying to you about time is it's just not real. It doesn't understand how long things take. It doesn't understand like aging, interestingly enough, and like where we're supposed to be at what age based on other people's expectations. It's just like, it's one of the most stressful things to deal with within here. But if you understand that it's just in here, it's not a reality, then it can really help like bring you back into your body, bring you back into the moment, instead of like this, but I'm running out of time, but I have to do this by this time. It's too much. It's too much.
Oh, that's so good, Juji. I mean, anything that can remind you to come back to your body is a good thing, or to the here and now. And I remember somebody saying one time that life is just one really long second. And what I mean by that is, imagine for a minute, and you can even close your eyes when doing this, but like, imagine there's no such thing as a calendar. There's no such thing as a clock. There's no Monday. There's no Tuesday. There's no 2023. There's none of that. It's just like, it's just made up. Like, just for a second, just suspend your belief that there's a calendar, that there's days of the weeks, that there's hours on a clock. Like, that just doesn't exist. What do you have? You're just here.
But it could also be looked at as chaos, because if we didn't have this organized time in today's society.
I get it. I'm just saying, suspend your belief for a second. Just feel the sensation of those things are just not in existence. Obviously, we have to come back to the here and now. Obviously, we live in a society and we have jobs and we have to be in certain places and all of that. But it's more about the feeling that you carry around, because to Juji's point, time can be a huge stressor on so many levels. Oh my God, I have an appointment. Oh my God, I haven't done enough in my lifetime that I want to accomplish yet. Like, just all of these things that are based around time. But if you just take a second and breathe and go, oh, but I'm here right now. I'm in existence. I'm a human being. I'm alive. Like, holy cow. You just approach time in a different way. Like, you need to make it your friend more. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Be friendly.
Yeah, I love that point, Shira, because I I am right now working on some traits that no longer serve me. Two of them are just feeling overly responsible for other people's feelings or experiences. And the other one is putting my needs first before others' needs without feeling guilty. And this is I've worked on many things in the past. I've definitely worked on these traits in the past. But right now, my whole perspective on time has shifted, where I just see now that this is a lifelong journey. This is not something I can heal overnight. It's something I have to practice daily. It's something that will slowly be released more and more and more. And it's something I'll see subtle changes throughout as I go on this journey. Could be a week from now, could be a year from now, like not putting any time on it because I'm a work in progress. And there's something in me right now on this journey that I just really see that, where would I like all of this to be released from my psyche yesterday? Hell yeah. But in the past, I think I like actually beat myself up for not getting there, like work on this, fix this. Like now I'm like, okay, I can't even consider time in the equation. This is just going to play out how it's going to play out. And I have no control except for I have no control. I can just take actions. I can keep doing what I'm doing. I can keep working towards bettering my mental health. And that's it. It's not going to, oh, my deadline is August. It doesn't work that way with self-care. And I just really see that now. Yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Well, you don't need another reason to beat yourself up. There's the thing that you're working on, and then there's the added layer of like time, which is, shouldn't I be there already? Like, didn't I deal with this already back then? Or and I've heard you say this, Kim, I'm 46 years old. Shouldn't I know this by now? It's like, I mean, no, because you don't.
Well, usually you and I are older and we don't.
It's the shooting ourselves.
Yeah, and
Shooting
Gigi,
all over.
you really, really shifted something in me with a voice note you left me where you pointed out, Kim, I've known you for however many years, and in those years you have done work on yourself and done, more inner work, and you're peeling back these layers, and like all that work got you to now this place where now this is what I need to work on. Where my mind was like, I'm 46. I thought I, am done with all this shit. And I should be done by now, kind of thing. Like I've spent all this time trying to heal and fix things and all the things. Anyway, but when you pointed that out to me, I was like, oh my God, she's right. Like you say all the time, like the universe isn't going to give you more than what you can handle. The universe has given me what I can handle 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and now today. So it's like, okay, I think as I get older, my perspective of time is shifting. Not to say I don't, stress out about time, because I certainly do. Right now, I actually took some time off of work where I'm just working part-time, barely, to spend some time with myself to work on my mental health. And first time in my life I've ever done it. And daily, I have to remind myself to ignore my mind, because my mind is like, you're starting a job in mid-March. You only got 3 weeks left. You better make the most of it. Did you do enough today? What'd you do today? Like, I mean, it's like my mind is just, our minds are so powerful. And I just remind myself, like, actually, Juji, something else you said really helped me, where you said you suggested to make a healing list. Like, what are like the top 3 things that are like your non-negotiables that you want to do with this time you have? And my top 3 things, one of them was taking long walks. And I have to say, like, I take long walks every day now. And some days that feels like not enough. And then I remind myself, I did do something wonderful for myself today, right? Like I took the time and I did, because the mind is just this, what else are you going to do? You got to take advantage of this time. So it's just a beautiful reminder that like, you know, it is just a thought, and it doesn't have to have power over us. Like we allow it to have the power. We allow it to stress ourselves out. So like we are in control of that, but obviously it's not the easiest thing. I love all the points you guys are making because it really it's shifting my thought about other things in my life, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's something we would like to control, or we have tried to control, but it's really out of our control when we, you know, when you really think about it. And for me, you know, right now with time, it's like I'm working with real estate and I'm getting busier and busier and busier and busier. But like I feel like I sometimes get into this like just moments of overwhelm. I try not to get myself too overwhelmed with too many things, but there are definitely moments where I'm like, oh my God, did I take on too much? You know, I'm reaching out to so many people. I have all these appointments and showings and whatever. And then there's also some pride in there where I'm like, I can handle it. Just bring it on. Just bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, you know, but some of my expectations are unrealistic. But on the other hand, I also got to say that I also feel that you don't necessarily need to work your ass off and to be successful, right? I do truly believe that with, you know, not as much time, you can financially, you can make as much money, or you could be more successful, feel more fulfilled. But again, it takes me always back to that awareness, back to, you know, if we just take a moment, if I take a moment in my day or a few moments in my day, and remember that, you know, to surrender, you know, all this stuff is coming my way. Let me do the best I can with all of it. Let me juggle. And there is some element to loving the hustle too, for me. I like it. I like a lot of stuff happening. But I hope that it doesn't ever really take me into overwhelm, you know, not to that overwhelmed state where I'm just not enjoying anymore.
But the overwhelm is a teacher for you, right? Just the way it is for me. Don't you find that when you get into those moments, it does force you to take a look at what's going on and why you don't have as much time, let's say, to dedicate to exercise or this or that you'd like? Like, doesn't it kind of force you to look at it closer?
It does. But I also, yes. And then I recognize that I have time for it all if I want to make the time. You know, I get to create that. You know, I am the architect of my life. Like I get to create that. And I try and always come back to that. I try to remember that because I can make an excuse every day about not exercising or not meditating or not anything. We all can, or not eating right. Oh, you know, people are like, oh, I have kids, I can't eat right. Oh, we go out all the time. You know, no, you can do whatever it is you choose to do. But in terms of, I think the timing for me is like, I'm in a little bit more of a surrender mode, hovering on a little overwhelm, but it's just like, all right, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. You know, just chill. So yeah, I try to remember that. But, you know, also, I think when we first brought up this topic, we were talking about time and how time can heal wounds, and time is on your side, like when you have an adversity. And, you know, I think overall, yes, and in the long run, but at the time that you're going through something that's very difficult, it is almost unseeable.
Yeah, such an interesting concept of time, because you're right. Well, first of all, the name of this episode is Time is on Your Side, right? But time tends to get a bad rap for all the reasons that we just discussed. There isn't enough time. I have too much to do. I'm overwhelmed. But like we don't savor the time. And when I think about time heals all wounds and all of that, it reminds me to think about how our physical bodies, when we break an arm, if we have a, God forbid, a disease or whatever, like the only thing that will heal it is time going by. You don't have to do anything. You just have to allow it to heal. And that's the same thing with our souls, you know, like look at time as it's on my side. And actually, Lee, you introduced me to this thing called the Reconnection Club, which is about, unfortunately, there are adults who are estranged from their parents, and I happen to be experiencing that with my son on and off, and it's really painful. And one of the things that she talks about is time is on your side, because a lot of people want to fix something now, and they feel like, oh, well, if I just do this, and if I send the gifts and I write the letters and I follow up and I keep texting, and like, no, that's not going to get you where you want to be. It's never going to get you where you want to be with anything that you're finding challenging in your life. Sometimes just doing nothing and allowing time to go by can give you a different perspective. And I, obviously older and wiser, but there were so many times, like when I would have an argument with my mother, or if I had an argument with my ex, it would just be like, I have to solve this right now. I need closure. I need closure right now. And it's like the actual best way to go, the best path you can take right now. You don't see it, Shira, but the best thing you can do right now is nothing. Just let time go by. Because we all know sometimes we have like a horrible, fight at night, or aggravation, or, screaming out, whatever. And then you wake up in the morning and you just see it totally differently. Like, what a gift that is, to allow time to go by when things are challenging.
I
And that
love
can be
that, Shira.
so liberating too. It can be so liberating when you actually, allow yourself that time, and you just kind of like trust the process.
Yes.
And time gives you
Okay,
space.
but I kind of have a counterpoint.
Please.
Lay it on.
I feel like what I want to say is that time is very cyclical, right? Like something that Kim was talking about is that she thought that she had dealt with certain things and now they've come back around, right? Like there were certain layers, certainly, that she peeled away, but probably didn't get all the way to the root of what was ailing her. And so now it's come back around as this new lesson. So I would say, if we think that time heals all wounds, I would say, no, time makes us forget that we had the wound until you can't ignore it anymore because you just slapped a Band-Aid on it. And now it's like a festering, whatever inside of you. And that's why I feel like, yes, it's good to have like some distance from certain things, like looking at what happened to us as children, as adults. That has plenty of time in between, and all of the ways in which it's shown up for us. But then to actually look at it and deal with it is its whole other set of lessons, right? So there's that contemplation time. So like, Kim, you giving yourself that space for introspection is really, really important. And I would challenge you to say, like, yeah, okay, you took this time off of work and now a 1 hour walk is a non-negotiable. Can a 1 hour walk be non-negotiable even when you're working full time?
That's the goal.
I work full time, and at this point, it's almost a 2 hour walk. That's a non-negotiable for me every single day. It's like, without question, I don't even question it anymore. It's like, the time that I take to walk by myself is like the best release of all of this nonsense that I've ever experienced. And I remember I had COVID twice last year, but the second time I was like really, really drained of energy. And so I wasn't walking regularly, and I could feel the buildup of caca in here. And it was scary. Like just a week, and all of a sudden it's just like I couldn't see through the caca in my mind because I didn't have those opportunities to remove myself and physically walk. And it really reminded me, like, this is a non-negotiable. Like, it doesn't rain or shine. It could be pouring outside. It could be snowing. I don't care. I'm out there. You know what I mean? I prefer it to be nice out like it is today, but that's not a guarantee, and it doesn't matter because I gotta go.
Well, that's also a good way to look at time, because when we take time for ourselves, we show up better in the world. We just do. Like, that's just a fact. It's a fact that if you don't make time for yourself, even just a few minutes a day in the morning, because some people are like, I don't have time. You have 5 minutes. Trust me, you have 5 minutes. You can't not have the 5 minutes.
Yeah. And I just want to say to Juji, your counterpoint is, it's funny, I actually look at Shira's point because I do believe time heals all wounds, but I see what you're saying. And I actually can see sort of a connection there. Like, time presents wounds. It allows you to see wounds, and then you can heal wounds. So like, to me, it's sort of all connected. It's like time equals space, space equals being able to see, observe. And then only with that awareness that that time is given you to see things, can you do something about them and you know, go inside and do what you got to do. So it's interesting. I'm seeing like both sides of it and how they're connected.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with problems that you've had, like surfacing again, because they don't surface in the same exact way. It's just like, oh, shit. It's like you break a bone and then you break it again. You're like, wait, there's something I'm not seeing here. I'm not letting it heal the right way. Right. And then we seek help and guidance and doctors and take better care of ourselves. Like, it's just an ever evolving series of lessons, which is a nice way to look at it.
Oh, yeah, it can come up many, many times in life. You know, it can just keep coming up until you actually sort of resolve the problem. Although I wouldn't encourage just sitting there and trying to think of issues from the past, you know, unless you're actually working on like, what is this one thing that keeps coming up, or why can't I get past this? You know, so that's not something, yeah, not encouraging to like, hey, sit with your shit and think about all the shit that happened in your past and all of the traumas, and just, you know, and just thinking about it. Yeah, it's not enough.
They don't have to think, people don't have to think about it because it'll come up naturally.
It'll come up. Right. And then, you know, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? You know, have you gotten past it? Have you truly gotten past it?
How
But
comfortable
also
are
we said-
you?
Yes. Well, we've also said this is not a safe space. So I'm a big believer in asking for guidance, praying. That's a really good use of time, is prayer.
Yes, and to add to that, Juji, you said something to me that was so helpful once. You said, when I, you know, need direction, I'll ask my guides, what's the next step? Like, show me the next step. Not like, show me how to do, you know, show me the whole picture or whatever. Like, that is so helpful, because now when I pray to my guides or I talk to my inner source or whatever, whoever it is that I, you know, my spirits, I ask for the next step to be revealed to me, and just I can feel when it comes to me in piecemeal like that, and it's manageable. It doesn't feel unmanageable, and that's like a savior for me right now. Is just give me a small slice. I can handle that. You know.
Well, Juji gets the MVP award for all of her wisdom today, because. All right, well, girls, I think this is a good time to wrap it up. If you've enjoyed our conversation, please subscribe to our channel and be sure to let us know if you have any topic requests or questions by commenting below. We'll see you soon. Thank you, everyone, and have a beautiful day.